hottest show in the galaxy. It is Tech Tuesday, and I have probably the most brilliant tech mind in all of electric vehicles. No, it was not Elon Musk. This man actually took two Teslas, put them together, and created his own. I love it. I don't think Elon Musk could have done that, by the way. He has money. Rich has a brain. Let me welcome to the show, Rich Benoit. Rich rebuilds. He's here. Hello.
Thanks for gassing me up and making me feel real nice for this interview. I love it.
Nah, man, listen, I like what you do. From day one when I met you in your daughter's bedroom.
Yes.
He did during the pandemic. The man was in the bed. Like I was like, not quite the Mark Morial treatment because you didn't have the camera facing the ceiling, but I was like, he is very relaxed.
Relaxed. I'm resourceful, during the pandemic, you got to get creative or how you have these meetings. So that's what I had and that's what I used.
Now today you're in a classroom, you got that old school clock happening, you got a crispy camera in 4K. I see it. I was like, he's upped his game, so I appreciate the respect.
Right, you got to grow and evolve, right? So you got to do.
Yes, you have done that. All right, so let me get some business out of the way. Somebody in Nubia wants to know, is Sean coming back to the show? Is it Sean? You have somebody on your show? Hold on, let me get.
I don't think I had a shot. I don't think I had a Sean on the show. With this, no.
Let me go. I gotta scroll now. It's gonna take me too long. All right, I'm gonna find it. Somebody asked the question again. It wasn't on Twitter. I got too many apps open right now. Speaking of that, you're mostly on YouTube, right? On the YouTube.
Primarily on YouTube. Recently I appeared in a show on HBO with Robert Downey Jr. called Downey's Dreams Cars. So my team and I built him a couple cars. So it usually alternates between YouTube and a little bit of HBO.
Okay. Vernon wanted to know, is Steven coming back?
Oh, is Steven coming back? You will see Steven again at some point. Yes.
Okay. All right. For those of you who aren't familiar with Rich Benoit, he's a car enthusiast. You can follow him on YouTube at Rich Rebuilds. He is most known for the early days of him getting on Tesla's nerves because he was out there, rebuilding their cars against their will, and they tried to shut him down. And then he moved on. So what are you pushing right now? You have so many vehicles. What are you pushing, and what do you like? What do you really like?
What am I pushing right now? My daily driver, the car I've put the most amount of miles on in a calendar year, is my Rivian. So I got a Rivian last year for my birthday.
Hold on, pause, Rich.
Yes,
pause.
Yes, pausing.
Okay, I gave them my $100.
Yes,
when it before the pandemic because I saw it. But then I don't know where to get it serviced. So I was like, this is going to break down. I don't see it. And I don't want to go into Tesla to get my Rivian service. I don't want to mess with the Tesla battery. So tell me about your Rivian. You got it for your birthday?
My birthday last year in 2022, I purchased it. And in a year, next week, I'll be hitting 20,000 miles on it. And that might not seem like a lot to most people, but when you think about it, I have other cars as well. But to have the ability to put 20,000 miles on one car when I have others, that's how much I love the truck. It's that great of a truck.
Okay. Do you have the R1T or the R1S?
So I have the R1T, the pickup truck. And
I love that.
The reason why I wanted the T is because the utility, it has a pickup bed, which is good. But it's also a longer wheelbase. It's a longer vehicle. And as a result of that, it actually rides a lot smoother than the SUV does.
I was looking at that. And they had like a camper one where you can have like an outdoor grill. Did you see that one?
Yeah, they have like a camper attachment, which is pretty good. And I don't have that. That's an option. It's more of there's two things. There's a kitchen that slides out of the side of the truck. And there's also a camper that you can get separately that actually goes on top of the bed that you could climb in and you could do your outdoorsy camping stuff.
Okay. 20,000 miles. So you have kicked the tires.
And I got to say, it's difficult talking about an electric vehicle that's not Tesla because the vehicle at the forefront of everyone's minds is Tesla. One of the first ones to market, most popular. There's over 3 million on the road. It's all the buzz. Everyone's talking about them. So people don't really give a lot of shine to other up and coming EV manufacturers. But after owning several EVs, I got to say the Rivian's definitely in the top three for sure. Top three. It's a great vehicle, and I see myself purchasing another one after this. That's how much I enjoy it.
Okay, I just went on because when I put it was $100. Now it's $1,000.
It's a little bit more now.
Like
Yeah.
3-4 years ago, it was
Slightly.
$100
Well,
to reserve it.
inflation, inflation
Yeah, I
almost.
see. I mean, that's like 100,000% or whatever.
Yeah, that's a lot.
100%. That's crazy. Besides the ride, because of the longer wheelbase,
Yep.
what else about the Rivian based on, what are the SUVs? Because I've had a G-Wagon. Back in the day, I had a 4Runner, 100,000 years ago. I've had Jeep. I had a Jeep Wrangler, which was a tuna can. Somebody hit me and I was like, oh, I will die in this car. Let me get rid of this. This will not stand, New York bread truck. Like the G-Wagon took a hit. And it was like, what? That's all you got? I was like, I could have died if I was in that Wrangler. I've had a lot of, Range Rovers.
Yeah.
How does this ride?
It's so I've driven G-Wagons, Range Rovers, long wheelbase Range Rovers. This is probably it's the smoothest vehicle I've driven, hands down, bar none. I know sounds like I'm beating on the door.
You are. Are you getting money from Rivian? Are they paying you to do this, Rich?
I am getting nothing whatsoever. There's no incentive, no nothing for me to talk about them. It's just very different because Range Rover focuses a lot on luxury, on interior appointments. What the leather is made out of. A lot of Range Rovers, they have these insane carpets. Just the carpets alone are double, triple, and quadruple layers. Like the first layer is just sound deadening. The second layer is a very thin layer of carpet, and there's multiple levels on top of that for comfort. The Rivian doesn't really focus on that. It mostly focuses on a clean, sharp interior and interface. And the way they do comfort is using technology. Whereas Range Rover and Mercedes use materials to exude luxury, the Rivian will use technology. So, for example, their entire suspension system is based off of a suspension of a McLaren. Those high-end sports cars?
Yes.
They pretty much use a McLaren suspension to constantly dampen the shocks and always adjust and pre-adjust and, almost expect bumps coming up in the road, and it reacts accordingly. So it's a phenomenal ride. Phenomenal ride.
So I watched this episode of Black Mirror. No, actually, I watched the class of, I forgot the name of it. It was about this FBI class, and they took us through 3 different iterations. In Black Mirror, there was an episode of this too, where somebody hacked the car and they ran the car off the road, locked the person in. There's like a lot of scenarios, a lot of, spacey type TV shows and series that show you, class of 09, right?
Worst case scenario. Yeah.
Yeah. So that somebody can hack the car. I just read that people can hack your fob.
Yeah.
If you have it in your house, they can hack your fob and steal your car. You said absolutely.
Absolutely. Yes, they can. Now, the concern isn't really, so that is independent of electric vehicles themselves. People could steal any car, and it's not only narrowed down to EVs like Teslas or Rivians or new Kias. As a matter of fact, there's 2 of the most stolen cars in the United States right now aren't even electric. One are Kias. There's been recent pandemic about people stealing Kias with USB thumb drives, and even higher than that is a Hellcat.
I just read that
are the most stolen. I actually own one. And I'm surprised it hasn't been stolen yet. And it's funny, after I purchased the Hellcat, one of my friends went into the car and he got a notification on his cell phone saying, there is an undetected, Apple AirTag in this car somewhere. I said, that's really strange. I didn't put it there. After scanning the car, we found that someone cut a little slit in the headrest and put an AirTag there. And the reason why they did that is because the cars are stolen so frequently. People have all these devices in the cars to locate it once it gets stolen. So, I mean, if we're just referring to EVs being stolen, I'll tell you, they're not even close to these gas cars getting stolen, because there's a lot more gas cars on the road than there are EVs. And not only that, but once you steal an EV, it's a lot harder to part it out and sell the parts because there's so few on the road.
Right. Okay. So the Hellcat, but they're still hacking the electric part, which is the fob, or the technology, which is the key fob, right?
Right. Well, a lot of cars, most cars nowadays use key fobs anyway. So it's a matter of what protocol the company is using to kind of thwart these attacks. But I mean, any car could get, just as easy as stolen as any other car. Just the thing with EVs is that they're a little bit more technology based, because with the gas engine, you have to put a key in, start it, and then, the fuel pump starts working, the injector starts working. There's a physical aspect for it. Whereas with an electric vehicle, all you really need is, once the energy starts flowing from that battery to those motors, it's kind of game over. There's a lot less physical aspect of it, less moving parts.
Okay. I want to get back to the Rivian for a second. In electric vehicles in particular, which is your bailiwick, which is your jam. Rich Rebuilds. He's a car enthusiast. You can find him on YouTube, and now is a HBO doing some things out there. So the Rivian. So where do you get your car serviced?
So I get it serviced at Rivian. There's a Rivian near me, about 20 minutes away or so. And in the 20,000 miles I've had it for, it's been to Rivian, I believe, twice. The first time is for a parking sensor. When I was driving, I hit a rock and I hit a parking sensor. I hit one of the parking sensors and that stopped working. And the second time, it was for something inconsequential. I think it was mostly for a casual update to see if anything's wrong with the truck.
Okay. All right. I was just looking. My closest Rivian dealer is in Brooklyn. That's a no. That's
you're all set. Yes, you're all set.
No, I'm not all set, because I'm not going to Brooklyn to get my car
where
serviced.
Where do you live?
I live in New Jersey. I'm not going to Brooklyn.
Jersey's not that far from Brooklyn.
It's not about distance, sir. It's about bridges and tunnels and traffic and such.
I think you'll be safe to get your vehicle serviced once every 20,000 miles. But nowadays, this is going to blow your mind. They come to you now. So for 90% of the things, they come to you. Matter of fact, I needed my tires rotated, and they came to me and rotated my tires in my driveway.
What?
Yes.
Okay. I love this. Okay. Yes. Okay. You just got me excited, because I was like, what's going to be my next? I haven't bought a car in like 5 or 6 years, and my car's paid for.
You don't need to. Just, it's funny. You don't need to do that. The only reason why I do it's part of my work, just run it till the wheels fall off. If it's cheap, I'll just keep it. Because I have a whole bunch of cars, and as fun as that is, you got insurance, you got registration, you have excise tax every year. I have, wear and tear, tire. It's not
worth it.
It's cute and funny when you're driving it. Everyone's like, "Yay, I love your car," but long term, it doesn't make any sense. What do you have now? You got
none of your business. No,
okay.
Nope.
Yep, okay, it's classified. It's classified. Okay.
I don't want nobody rolling up on me. Shoot.
Okay. You have a brand? Any brand you want to share? Is Mercedes?
Nope.
Okay.
No, not. I've had Mercedes. I've had everything but Ferrari, and I grew up loving cars. So my very first car was a BMW. I got a BMW for graduation, and then I got a Saab, the one with the spoiler kit, the limited edition convertible. Right. That was my next car. That was, and that looked like a damn spaceship. It was like people were stopping me. I love that. So I've had everything in my, except for I'm not spending $150,000 for a car. Even my G-Wagon was pre-owned, because I'm like, how much? Ain't nobody spending that for no damn car. People out there spend 150,000. I mean, some of y'all like to spend 100. Money's too hard to come by.
No,
so I'm a pre-owned. I will pre-own your ass and drive my S-Class pre-owned. I ain't paid. It was like I told my mother my monthly payment then was less than her car. I was paying like $429 to push it. Pre-owned.
Let someone else take the depreciation hit. I think the famous saying is, all cars are used cars. Every car you see driving on the road is a used car. Every single one.
Facts. So you just got to go to reputable places to get. So in the case, so maybe I should wait a while to get the Rivian. I was also waiting because the batteries were dicey for me. Like I was feeling like I didn't want to get a battery thing in my house because it may blow up, and you can't put those damn batteries out, and then the whole neighborhood is up in smoke.
Yeah. So that, what I would do if I were you, instead of jumping to the Rivian, that's a big step for your first EV. That's a big deal. I would.
Why? Why?
Because the cost is significantly more than the other ones. I would
Okay.
consider, and I know you're gonna laugh at me for saying this, and you wouldn't consider this because I know your pedigree. I know you like cars of a certain caliber. I was gonna suggest a Model 3 just to get your feet wet.
Model
Just
3, what? BMW?
Tesla.
No,
Just
I've
to get
never given it. Elon Musk will never get $1 from me ever.
okay.
He's
All right,
not. If
understood.
Twitter, if he started to charge for Twitter, I'm gone. Elon
Right.
Musk can kiss
Okay.
my, not even kiss any. He can kiss your ass because I don't want him touching mine at all.
Right.
But nah,
Right.
he's not getting a dime. I wish I no.
Understood.
That's a
I
no.
understand. So if that's the case, you could again, this is one that you might not like, but there's several. You know what manufacturer's been killing it recently when it comes to EVs are Kia and Hyundai, believe it
I
or
was gonna
not.
say the Ionic looks dope.
The
That
Kias and
Ionic, is it the
Hyundais.
Ionic?
Sorry?
Is the Kia the Ionic?
That's the Hyundai Ionic,
Hyundai.
yes.
That looks amazing.
Yeah, it's they've
So,
been so what they've done is they've actually hired BMW's designer for these vehicles.
yeah,
So they
that looks
hired
beautiful.
BMW's designer, and their designs have been absolutely flawless. They've just been killing it when it comes to the EV game. Yes, very much.
Okay. All right. So
So I
Kia
mean,
and
for Kia, maybe a Kia, EV6 or Hyundai Ionic. Those are less than the Rivian, and it's a good way to get your feet wet into the EV game without spending a small fortune.
okay. So how much is the Rivian? What's the range?
The Rivian, it depends. It starts at about I think 74, but if you option it out, you can get to you can knock on 90's door.
Yeah, that's a lot of
And
money.
it's
That's
you know
that's a
it's
condo.
it's yes, it's an investment, and yes, the range is about three. Mine's about 320, I'd say. They
That's how long
have
the battery lasts.
before
320
you have to
miles.
charge it again. And if you get the longer pack, the larger pack, it's about 400 miles, a little bit over
Okay,
400 miles. Yep.
that's pretty good. Now, do you have a battery charger in your on your premises?
I do. I have one at my home, and it will. The thing about the common misconception about EVs is that you think, oh my goodness, whenever I get home, it's going to be all the way empty, and I got to charge all the way full. It's going to take forever. When you go out there and you do your day to day errands, and when you come home, you plug it in, you're the second the next day happens, you have a full charge ready to go again. You know what I mean? Like it's almost like
Right.
having a full tank of gas all the time.
All the time.
Yeah, so that's been huge for me personally because I'm always on the go, and I just hate stopping to do things that I think are inconsequential. So when I get home, I plug it in, don't think about it, and then I'm ready to go in no time.
Now, I like to drive. I prefer to drive than fly.
Same.
Um,
I hate it.
so if I'm going to drive to North Carolina or to South Carolina or to Florida,
Mm-hmm.
that's not going to get me very far. And now I'm nervous because as a black person, it's not
Mm-hmm.
like how do you know where to go to charge when you're on doing a road trip, a 15-hour road trip?
So that's a very good point. So when I first got the Rivian, I actually bought the Rivian in New Jersey. Fun fact. I bought it in New Jersey a year ago today, almost to this date. And I immediately drove it from New Jersey to visit my brother in North Carolina. Then I went to South Carolina, Georgia, and then to Florida. And then I drove all the way back.
And charging stations, I just went to the airport a few weeks ago, and it's
Mm-hmm.
like they have now all of the parking spaces were free, full of the electric vehicles. I was like, this is really
Yeah,
smart. They see the future. So this is going to be the
I see
future.
it. So yeah, this is. I mean, it's your definition of the future might be different from mine, but if you think about it, breaking it down to its most basic elements, it's a luxury. There is no reason why anyone should spend this kind of money on a truck. Do I need the truck? No. Does anyone that owns a Rivian need an electric pickup truck that costs $90,000? Absolutely not. A $5,000 Tacoma will suit your needs just as fine as anything else. Is it the future? I would say it's the future of extreme consumerism. Sure. If you feel the need to spend this kind of money on something to let your friends and neighbors know you've got it, sure. Is it the future? I don't really. Maybe the drivetrain's the
Okay.
future, but does it make sense to do this kind of stuff? Not really. You're better off just getting something that's simple and more reliable, has a better pedigree, has a better history. Just get something used and call it a day to get you from point A to point B, and you could drive to Florida and not even sweat anything.
Rich Benoit is here. Do you have a classroom in your house? Did you build that classroom, or are you
No,
at a school?
I'm actually at my daughter's classroom right now. She had an after school program where she's part
Okay,
of a running club. So she's
nice.
out there running and I'm just here waiting for her.
All right, I love it. I love it. Rich Benoit is here. Benoit. Rich Rebuilds is the website. I have this Mad Max vision for the country. Like I feel
Mm-hmm.
like, things they happen and it's like tech, 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 and then we're gonna go back to the dark ages. It's
Yes.
like that happens, right?
Mm-hmm.
If that unfortunately were to happen, like somebody knocks out our grid, because that's the
Yeah.
other thing, right? So we be messing with people be threatening the United States of America.
Mm-hmm.
The grid is up for grabs, in my opinion, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
If they mess with the grid, Rich Benoit, your Rivian is not getting charged.
So if you mess with the electrical grid, the Rivian's not getting charged. Unfortunately, what I've learned is that a lot of gas stations, those pumps won't pump gasoline either. The catch
Okay.
is that in this weird dystopian era, almost Walking Dead type stuff, you can go from car to car, and you could try to siphon gas for your own. But if you're walking from car to car siphoning gas, you have bigger issues. But yes, the
Okay.
grid being down, our aging grid and infrastructure it isn't great in all areas. There's a lot of places that you get brownouts, might be in Texas, some parts of California, that aren't great for when it comes to uh, electricity availability. But I mean, there's a lot of things that we take for granted that are powered by electricity that we don't even realize on a day-to-day basis. If you cut off the power circuit or the power breaker to a gas station, you're not getting any gas. Your credit card machine doesn't work. The lights
Mm-hmm.
don't work. The
Okay.
stoplights don't
All
work.
right.
A lot more
Got
to
you.
it
Got you.
than just
All
electric
right.
cars.
So I got to think more broadly. And so thank you. It's like
You
everything.
got to think bicycle. Always have a bicycle. Do you have a
I have
bicycle?
two. Yes, I have
Good.
two bikes.
Then
I
you're
got a
all set.
Cannondale and that I'll tell you about. My
Yeah.
my Cannondale and what's the other bike? Because I love the Cannondale. It's my favorite.
Mm-hmm.
Can't you got a bike too? What about the electric bike?
Well, yeah, I do have an electric
I feel like
bike.
that's cheating.
I have but they're fun. They're
I
fun.
heard, but
They're
I
fun.
feel like it's dry. It's like I feel like it's dangerous because if
Well,
it's going 25 miles an hour,
people
people
don't
can't
like it on
drive
them.
as it is. I'm like,
People don't, especially where you're in New Jersey. I don't know if you're more in the city and more like the countryside, but you're right. People don't know how to drive, and when you're on those bikes, a lot of drivers have this aversion to people on bicycles. They just don't like people on bicycles because there's some people on bicycles that ruin it for others. So you're just a target. So you got to be careful. But so 25 miles an hour, on a bicycle.
Yeah, I've fallen a lot on my bike because
Mm-hmm.
I won't say I'm reckless, but
Yeah,
I like fast things, so I
of
ride my
course.
bike. So I was like, don't give me a motor on the bike. That's not going to be good for me. So I
Right.
was like, and I
Plus,
got my
you get
knees fixed. I'm
exercise.
not.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exercise.
no, we
Exercise is
stationary.
good.
That's good. Walk your ass.
Yeah.
Rich is here. Rich is here. What car? If and I like that you gave people the range from the Kia to the Hyundai. What do you have in your stable right now that is not electric, or are you completely sold out on the electric
You know,
besides the
I
Hellcat?
I have one electric vehicle, and that's the Rivian. Actually, that's not true. I have two electric vehicles. I have the Rivian truck, and I have something called an Arcimoto. An
Oh,
Arcimoto, it's a really funny name, but they're based out of Oregon, and it's a three-wheeled motorcycle. So there's two wheels in the front, one wheel in the back, and it seats two people in tandem. So you could look it up.
okay.
It's the looks aren't for everyone, but I'll tell you, it's one of the most fun things I've driven in a while. It's very
Oh,
fun to
that
drive.
reminds me of something like they have in the Caribbean islands.
Yes, almost like
Yes.
those tour guide, those
Yeah.
touristy
That's
type
fun.
vehicles. Yes.
So
It's really fun.
yeah, that looks like fun. That
So
looks like fun.
the Arcimoto is electric. I have a Suron electric bike. And in terms of gas vehicles, I still have my 911 Turbo. I have a Porsche still. I have the Hellcat, and I have a Corvette. That's kind of really it. Yeah, that's kind of really Corvette. What else
Corvette.
do I have? I have a McLaren. So yeah, I have a bunch of little cool stuff. Yes, a bunch of little cool stuff.
All right. Now, I often, wonder, are these things worth it? Do you know, like this country has more cars than people.
Yes.
And then we have more people unhoused. Like it's bizarre. Like other nations ride bikes, they walk, they have, they get out, except for New York City where fewer people have cars. But for the most part, we have more cars than we need. I mean, you're a person with 5 cars. I used to have 2. I only have 1 now. I'm just minding my business. Because I'm one person. I can't drive many cars. So I've completely scaled down my life because I don't trust the world.
I don't blame you at all. We have more guns than people.
That child. Now you don't brought more stake in the game, Rich.
That's a different discussion. I think is it worth it? I think it's like I said before, it's American consumerism. More, bigger. Do you need a big house? No, probably not. A lot of people flex and say, hey, guess what? I'm saving the environment because I have 2 Teslas and solar on the roof. In reality, the problem is you have this 8 or 10,000 square foot home. Do you need that big of a house? You have to heat it. You have to cool it. You have this beautiful landscaped yard. Landscaping and pesticides and poisons are the worst thing you could do for the environment because nothing could live there once you poison it. So people have this really twisted idea and thought that, wait a minute, I'm saving the world. But all you're doing is just feeding into more consumerism. Like, oh, look, I have 2 Teslas. I need solar now. You don't need half those things because guess what? You work from home. Why don't you just ride a bicycle? Why don't you just scale things down? So I think I don't help in that sense either. My problem is my love of cars. I love cars so much.
Yeah, me too.
And that's my little collection thing. Do I need them at all? Absolutely not. Zero, zip, zilch. I am fine just having 2 cars in the household, maybe even 1, because people have gotten by for decades just having a 1-car household. So
advice on the way out. Thank you for the Rivian. I appreciate that because I had a bunch of questions. I really brought you on for my own because if I'm gonna scope out some vehicles, Consumer Reports is good. Where do you what do you, because they did this whole thing on CBS Sunday Morning on Consumer Reports and how, they're unbought and they're going to actually go out and give you everything, especially the car edition. Where do you go to find, because I know you buy these cars as part of your business, but who do you trust to tell you what's good and what's not?
You know what? I don't really trust online publications very much when it comes to, I don't know, you name it, like Motor Trend, to Drive. I don't really trust them because that is unfortunately ripe for corruption in a lot of cases. There's nothing stopping, a larger company from saying, hey, listen, I'm going to slip you this 20 or whatever dollar amount just to say some good things about it. It's been happening for years now. I'd rather actually go to a forum, an online forum, and hear real world feedback from people that actually own the cars. So owners are the people that I go to. So I'll go on, everyone has Facebook now. If you are interested in a certain vehicle, go on your phone, go on Facebook, and then type in that vehicle. There's a 98% chance there is already a group of people that own that vehicle. And you could just kind of like sit by the sidelines and kind of hear what they have to say, ask general questions, and the actual owners, and not just people that were lent the car for maybe like 2 or 3 hours, will give you their real world opinions and not just a very small 2-hour window of what the car's like.
Great advice, Rich. You can come back anytime. I appreciate it, and I hope your daughter wins everything.
Thank you.
Benoit, thank you so much. Rich Rebuilds is the brand. Check them out on YouTube and everywhere. And let me thank